you're now really asking me a question that is outside my specialist skill, and this is the territory of politicians. I think what's interesting is if you talk to people, they talk of the two-state policy as being the promised land, but other people say, and I find this much more appealing as a general answer, there has surely to be one state where all the inhabitants of this territory have the same civil, political and economic rights as each other, where the wall is torn down. The answer to that is, well, that can't happen because each side wants to drive the other into the sea and see the end of them by fair means or foul. But I would have thought that if we look at Northern Europe, where increasingly countries are multi-ethnic, multinational, and they are able to live in some kind of harmony, we hope greater harmony, through the democratic process. Why is it that Israel thinks its territory should be subject to entirely different rules, with part of the territory being the Jewish state and the other part being second-class citizens, or simply not existing at all as a real state having freedoms, as in the case of Gaza? So, with all the cautions I would say, because I am not a politician, it must surely be possible. It's pretty hopeless if we say it's impossible. Does law have a part to play? Yes, I think it probably does. For long enough, Israel's been the beneficiary of such patronage by America that examination of the lawfulness or otherwise of its conduct has been avoided. Well, that's changing. And at the same time as Hamas and the Palestinian Authority must have their conduct examined under international law, it does appear now that Israel is likely to be subject to further to investigation by either the International Criminal Court, possibly by the International Court of Justice in due course, and that may well have an effect of limiting what many regard as the excesses that Israel engaged in its attack, particularly on Gaza in the last decade or so. And if that happens, then who knows, it just might be easier with a background of less illegality and more lawfulness for politics to take hold. But it's a hugely difficult problem, and I am not the person to answer it.